Russia with love, I fly to you, much wiser since my goodbye to you. I've traveled the world to learn I must return from Russia with love. I've seen places, faces, and smiled for a moment, but oh, you haunted me so. I have not enclosed picture of my family, so we can talk about hospitals here. A hospital is the humanity itself. You want to say that is a matter of at earlier times make bloodlines formated out of smaller population. That is phenomenon humanity. That is not phenomenon my family. I enclose my family just to see to be noticed some kind of diversity in identities. In order, so I enclose. I explain what means mixed bloodlines, and that you still talk about certain criteria. They're still refined. They're still sophisticated. They're still there is still some kind of selectiveness going on here, and it is therefore something that you rather maintain or look after. It is monarchical bloodline. In that context, I want to say one more thing. The reason why God is being defined as on the sky is in order to be projected that the decision-making, higher level decision-making processes are top of the pyramid, top of the hierarchy, not the ground levels. Ground levels do not decide on life and death. You have to have defined higher authority and higher level of arbitrage that's going to employ much more comprehensive thinking and analysis in the way how I do in order to manage society. You cannot manage society from perspective of lower of the ground. And even when are in question upper levels, you still need to include to recognize who is here bringing the most comprehensive, the most substantial list of criteria when you assess societies. That is the main message of my work. The specifics require further attention, but the main message of this work is to point out at the criteria that somehow became forgotten and ignored, and that we as a humanity cannot afford to ignore the most important criteria of how to manage our societies. And that is where I'm going to find the vital departure of my positions or my configuration versus Serbia. Serbia wants to play God itself by walking on the ground. It is in question a highly tribunal society, which I was not aware that Serbia is part of such large tribunal presence. For me, Serbia is much more part of the order. For me, Serbia is sainthood, which is part of the order of monarch. And the traditional concept of Holy Grail, traditional hierarchy, and reference to hierarchy, King Arthur, Highlander, such kind of matters. These are all highly structured approaches with a very strongly defined hierarchy. I cannot see Serbia outside such corridors. To the extent that Serbia exists in different configuration, I cannot associate with such Serbia. But might find again some kind of similarity on level of cosmic consciousness, where I bring that level of some kind of creative beginnings. Although I can see that Serbia is very much interested for something like that either. In substance, a third aspect of me versus Serbia is that when it is in question my bloodline, I'm very much restrictive of any other alternatives to be involved in my Serbia. For me, my Serbia is on the parameters sainthood, on the parameters functioning of this imperial setting, For me, I can't find my Serbia and my bloodlines outside of such corridors. So any other presence of Serbia or aspect of Serbia in any other form and shape is not my Serbia. I don't relate to such Serbia. And I don't want that Serbia to relate to me either. In my world, my Serbia is very strong, but it is also very formatted. I have no intention to change any of it. To be very, very clear, whoever have different kind of Serbias should understand where is the stage of their Serbia and how they cannot interfere with my metaphysics here. I can also understand that there are that many other people that call themselves Serbs and exist under the same flag and within the same name of the state and have developed even some kind of international circles and international connections. Here again, my position is that these people do not have a right to jump on higher position when it is in question nation. Again, here comes to surface the hierarchy and the meaning of hierarchy itself and how hierarchy should be understood when in question equally historic heritage of a nation. That is, we have two parameters, two phenomena here. One is the existence itself of the population. The other is organizational formation within some kind of meaningful order. These people should be enough vocal to explain to what they actually connect within their entire comprehension of historic heritage, or they do not call upon revoke or connect to historic heritage. If they cannot connect to the concept of historic heritage, then they should not be that much free lens to walk under the flag either. Flag means for sure very specific level of historic heritage in terms of cultural identity in a given circumstances of certain political boundaries even where the stories become very specific. Now we have that equally phenomenon that you have territorial deploy of certain prime tribes, but also you have evolving of political states where become much more specific political configuration and within the historic terms development of orders we refer to as a historic heritage because they affect in certain ways this kind of metaphysical perception of what is the nation about and what is national identity. To the extent that I find myself very much in the school of such matters, I cannot find someone else walking upper vibe here because simply I am the upper vibe myself. Now, it should be clear here that the ground tribunal playgrounds of different players on the same stage, on the same national stage, should be aware of what are the parameters in which my identity orbits here, to what I bring my story. In other words, I need to hear what is their story, if they have any. If not, what on earth they're doing on my stage. It is very similar about Macedonia as well. In Macedonia, I have very strong configuration of my consciousness and the way how I relate to Macedonian history. By the way, clearly bringing here strong upper level consciousness equally. So I cannot understand developing my story to quite an extent. I cannot understand on what ground someone would be randomly jumping on my stage without any whatsoever connection to this, again, metaphysics, but also very much physical presence and consciousness I'm developing and delivering here within the bloodline on very specific terms. In fact, actually, I really don't know on what ground random players would be jumping on that field now. It's absolutely not understandable. What they're going out there meddling something with Israel. I have absolutely no idea why they're meddling with Israel as well. Or what Israel is meddling with my Macedonian metaphysics. But that is rather annoying and appear as some kind of fly of mosquitoes or something. I really don't know what these people are, what they're doing, and what they want. If that can be actually explained. And you, New Zealand, I have been sending you my letters from the very beginning, where I properly equally send letters to Helen Clark and United Nations, where I have properly explained what I have found here happening on the planet. It immediately established that we talk about here concept of Jesus bloodline, and that we talk about organized approach of this levels of vandalism rather. I have asked for office and I have asked for assistance. You would not dare to position yourself in any other way in regard of the entire matter. But what I can notice is that the mind of human has become targeted and hunted under the category of oil by people that neither know what means mind, neither how mind works, neither how it should work. And that is a very dangerous element. When people that have absolutely nothing to do with the mind and the dimension of mind find themselves managing it. That is absurd. In no any other activity of human existence, you have employed people on the field that are not professionals and do not understand the actual field on which they are going to work. Only here, when it is in question so-called oil derivation, which is, by the way, very primitive and very vandal approach, you have actually affairs about dealing with human mind by the people that have absolutely no idea neither how human mind works, neither what that is inhuman. We talk here about dimension, concept of dimension. We talk here about metaphysics. We talk here about the entire concept of universal existence. And then you have some dry people, completely dry-minded, completely dry, without any logic, any comprehension, any meaningfulness, in charge of the event. You cannot have people in charge of my mind when I am the mind. By who? By what mind I would be I would be managed? By what kind of mind I would be managed? In that context, I'm going to say again, I am here challenging the monarchy of England, and in the same time declaring that monarchy of England is directly responsible for most proper and appropriate functioning of this work. Or otherwise, we will need to question why at all that protocol even exists. This will need to be answered by England itself. If they cannot assist this kind of event, why on earth they even bother to declare monarchy protocol? I am not joking. This question will need to be actually answered by England and monarchy of England. One would say responsibility cannot be attached to lack of comprehension. Yes, well, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Neither you can have a monarchy without comprehension what on earth that's supposed to mean. Here comes my statement on surface again, that you have simply wrong tree, that you have followed wrong pathway. Excuse me, but everything on these matters, in these matters, everything is about the correct pathway. And that is not the case with that house. Again, we have interference here of some kind of parallel line here. Parallel line that does not bring this level of configuration, mental configuration. It is just idle. So I have here thousands of books written, pages. I mean, more than 15 books, probably 20 in real terms, because there is a limit 500 pages. So probably by now 20 books written that I don't have money to publish. While clearly the entire planet emerges out of me as a second-hand event, because these oligarchies exist as a pumping the oil protocol. Now, the entire planet should notice how unnatural this positioning is and unhealthy for the planetary functioning itself. I have called upon United Nations on this. I have sent letters to police of New Zealand. I have sent letters to governments of Serbia and Macedonia. I have not, no one is answering to me on this. I have to notice them that they prevail or have been caught in this network of oligarchies that are actually pumping out my work and treat my work as oil field. This is literally criminal that is supporting of criminal oligarchies. It is in substance profoundly a network of criminals and criminal organizations that are emerging out of out of my work and declaring their money earning platforms. The official governments, the official centers of guardianship, should I say, as it is army and police, cannot possibly be on side of criminal oligarchies. This is breaking momentum, where the entire civilization get measured and get defined either as a criminal alliance or as a correct definition of existence of a realm. At the moment, we have found the planet prevailing on the criminal oligarchies construct, reflected in the way how monarchy houses ended to be formatted as well. That is wrong. It is wrong to find monarchy houses not respecting their own protocol. Critical point here is at the point of responsibility of monarchy protocol to recognize their next monarch, equally as Vatican is recognizing their next Pope. They have not answered yet why they are electing or announcing the next Pope by smoking a chimney. Is it not that reference to a witch? That is to a woman? Are we not here have open ground demonstrated where monarchy has ended and that we in substance do not have monarchy protocol because monarchy protocol gets burned officially by Vatican, while who on the same time is establishing their evil, wrong monarchical house in England. In that regard, if all comes to Serbia, I'm going to again address Serbia for the fact that we have in Serbia two conflicting bloodlines or two conflicting streams. The monarchy stream exists in the cross bloodlines. That is why you have such cross in religion accepted, and you are staring at that cross for 2 millenniums and in the same time heavily disrespecting it. That cross indicates, equally as letter H for human, indicates that we have in question here, and we have to talk about crossbreed. Therefore, my bloodline, as I have enclosed, is properly crossed bloodline. And as such, it is a real monarchical bloodline. Letter M also bring a bit more of a structure. It looks like two letters A. It looks like alliance. You have complexity in that letter. You have alliance. You have here two streams at a crossing point, and you get the monarchy protocol. You don't have two crossing streams. You can't, and also, of course, you need to have the bingo element. Now, why it's bingo sounds like bingo? Why bingo sounds like bingo? Oh, this entire planet is antipode, is anti-system. You have to have correct recognition point here. You don't have properly point of recognition of reincarnations. Why you don't have that? You cannot have a protocol without to have protocol of recognizing of reincarnations. You cannot have valid monarchical protocol if you do not have properly accepted protocol of recognizing reincarnations. Simply, you cannot have proper protocol without it. As simple as it sounds. Now it's too late for you to gain that right because we have established long-term parallel coexistence of these bloodlines where one bloodline exists as an exploitator and as a cork on top of the bottle of the original bloodline. That is why you go in England and you have cup of tea. Tea means you. Well, someone openly is telling you right there in your eyes, I am cupping you. So we talk here about two bloodlines, the real bloodline and the fake bloodline. And the fake bloodline has been used to cup the original bloodline, to excavate it, extract it, and translate it in and franchise it or pack it, and then you have the packaging and repack it in their most suitable for earning propositions, products out there. And so economy emerges. I can't believe that is on what ground they actually ignite and formulate the entire economy, all connected to exploitation of the original bloodline. This is literally on the level, this literally amount for occupation and usurpation of our planet as well. it is indicative of occupation of a planet. Although I found Serbia participating in that crossing point. If Serbia promotes itself as a separate entity, we have to see it as occupation of the planet. I am declaring the throne for 10 years, which means that for 10 years we have actually active throne. Therefore, no any other claim can be accepted as a valid. No any other territorial presence on this or claim, therefore, can be accepted. As I have said, the rule here is to be or not to be. There is not much to be argued. All they have is to be declared within the certain bloodlines. That is, again, my discretion, not other way around. And also, I have experienced such heavy sabotage in my life. I am, as much as my flair, my inner drivers were making me completely blind and ignorant of what was going on around me. I have to notice that the intensity of sabotaging involved in my life that ranks on the levels of being not just inappropriate but ludicrous. Now it will need to be established the intensity of such ludicrous efforts to bring me down and to excavate for themselves validation for their promotion. We have here the breaking momentum. We have here planet in half. I have to notice a Western Hemisphere existing on these parameters of Adam and Eve to such extent that I cannot simply ignore it. The weight with which these forces have been playing the role of ludicrous Eve in my life will need to be noticed, will need to be explained, will need to be elaborated on. Who was playing the ludicrous, crazy, mad Eve in my life? Who was that force? What was that force? And how we are to understand now America via this mega approach relating to me as I am not mega enough, or the mega do not have comprehension what mega actually means. I noticed the other day Princess Shania from Jordan talking about commenting on Palestine and explaining why her husband is preventing Palestine's refugees on Jordan under explanation that is not how that territory should be defended. On her backside there were two vases, one tall and slim and the other short and wide. It reminded me at the beginning of this journey, my journey of awakening, where someone was projecting me image of me being in form of a pumpkin. If I was to look that short, probably I would find that appropriate. But I never thought of myself in my entire life as a short person. I have been always in category of the highest pupils in the classroom, always closer to the highest. So I never got the opportunity to think of myself as a short person. Any other variation of me, I would find rather extreme, and not exactly in a feminine category of being feminine. When someone looks like a lick, you cannot call that exactly even a woman. Not that I have been bothered that much of such matters, but I would always look at such examples as out of regularity or as invalid. Literally, and I would just not pay even attention, because in any case scenario, it wouldn't bother me for absolutely no any reason. And I recently become so much bothered by it. There's the point of laughability, literally. I can't find, I'm going to repeat again, I can't find leak in category of standard of a human of earth. We talk human of earth here. I'm going to make official statement. Protocol leak body of a woman does not belong in typical human protocol of earth. Typical human. Now we have 7 billions of humans on earth already. Human shape of a woman in shape of a leak is not going to be top representation of a woman of earth, or a standard versus which everyone else is going to be measured. It is rather that we declare that as extreme versus our standard of human. What inspired me to talk about this right now is that someone constantly, well, I'm projecting this level of frequency of my discussion and elaboration, which is in category of political or conceptual philosophy, constitutional level. Someone walks to me as ground level specifics. Now that is as what level walks, what is the level that follows after the top of the pyramid. We talk about the graphic of the hierarchy in any kind of some kind of formation, or some kind of entity, some kind of event. You have hierarchy. Cannot walk from this level of trajectory on ground level of events.